The rain had stopped, but the street still shined like a mirror. Ariel Johnson walked faster with her hood up and her keys threaded between her fingers, not because she wanted to look tough, because she had learned to be ready. She had just finished a late shift at the diner, where the tips were never guaranteed, and the smiles were always required. Her bus had been delayed, her phone was at 5%, and the shortcut behind the closed liquor store felt like the only option. The alley smelled like wet concrete and old smoke. One flickering light buzzed above a metal door. Ariel kept her eyes forward. No music, no scrolling, just listening. Then she heard it, footsteps behind her. Not one pair, more she turned a little and saw three silhouettes moving like they owned the darkness. They were laughing like the night was theirs. One of them called out to her with a voice that sounded bored and hungry at the same time. Ariel did not answer. She kept walking. They followed. The first man stepped closer. He blocked her path like a wall. The second man circled behind her. The third stayed back, watching, like he was enjoying the show. Ariel tightened her grip on her keys. Her heart slammed hard, but her face stayed calm. She had learned that panic makes people brave in the worst way. The first man leaned in. He told her she was in the wrong place. He told her to hand over her bag. He told her not to scream. Ariel lifted her chin. She said no. The second man grabbed her wrist. The keys dug into his skin. He cursed and squeezed harder. The alley narrowed. The air got colder, and the flickering light above them felt like it was about to die. That was when another set of footsteps entered the alley, slow, heavy, unhurried. All three men paused, like animals hearing something bigger. Ariel looked past them and saw a man stepping out of the darkness, like he had been built from it. Tall still, a black coat hanging open, hands relaxed at his sides, no fear in his posture. His face was calm, sharp lines, eyes that did not blink too often, eyes that measured distance and choices. The three men tried to act tough. One of them laughed and asked who he was supposed to be. The stranger did not raise his voice. He only spoke one sentence, soft but clear. Let her go. The first man tightened his grip on Ariel like a warning. He told the stranger to mind his business. The stranger stepped closer. One step, then another, not fast, not dramatic, just certain. The third man reached into his pocket. The motion was small but loud in a silent alley. Ariel felt her breath catch. The stranger noticed everything. He tilted his head like he had already decided the outcome. He spoke again, still calm, still quiet. You have 10 seconds to walk away. The first man scoffed. He said, 10 seconds for what? For a lecture, for a fight. The stranger moved, not like a brawler, like someone trained to end things quickly. He grabbed the first man by the wrist and twisted. A sharp sound, a yell. The grip on Ariel broke. Ariel stumbled back. Her bag strap slid off her shoulder. She caught it and stepped away from the wall. The second man lunged. The stranger turned and blocked. A short strike, a knee to the side, not bloody, not messy, just effective. The third man pulled something out. Ariel saw metal flash. The stranger saw it too. He did not rush. He looked at the third man like he was disappointed. Then he moved in a straight line and knocked the weapon out of the man's hand. It clattered on the wet ground. The third man froze. His confidence cracked, because the stranger was not angry. He was controlled, and that was worse. The first man clutched his wrist and backed up. The second man limped and cursed. The third looked from the weapon to the stranger like he could not understand what had just happened. The stranger pointed toward the street without changing his expression. Now they ran, all three, fast, stumbling over puddles, vanishing out of the alley like the dark had spit them out. Ariel stood shaking, her fingers still clenched around her keys, her chest rising too fast. The stranger looked at her. His gaze softened, just slightly. Not warm, not cold, just careful. Are you hurt? Ariel swallowed. She shook her head. She wanted to say thank you, but her voice caught behind fear and pride. Then she noticed something. A car idling at the mouth of the alley. Black, expensive windows tinted. Two men inside watching without moving. The stranger followed her eyes. His jaw tightened. Ariel took a step back. Who are you? The stranger did not answer right away. He reached into his coat and pulled out a folded umbrella, like it was the most normal thing in the world. He opened it above her, even though the rain had stopped. Then he said, "My name is June Park." The way he said it sounded like a warning wrapped in politeness, and Ariel had heard that name before, not on the news, not on TV, in whispers at the diner, in stories people told when they wanted a room to go quiet. June Park, the Korean man nobody wanted to owe, the man people called boss when they were scared to say. Mafia. Ariel's stomach dropped. June guided her out of the alley and toward the main street. He did not touch her. He just walked close enough that the world felt different. Ariel kept looking at the black car. It stayed near the curb, not chasing, not leaving. June asked where she lived. Ariel hesitated, then gave him a cross street, not her exact address. She hated that she had to be careful, even after being saved. June nodded like he respected that. They stopped under a street light. Ariel finally managed to speak. "Why were they doing that? And why did you show up right now?" June stared at the black car, then back at Ariel. "Because they thought you were alone, and because I was already here." Ariel frowned. Already here. How June looked at her bag, then at her diner apron, folded inside it. He said a line that made her skin go cold. "I was looking for you." Ariel stepped back. Her keys rose again, her eyes hard. "You saved me. Now you say you were looking for me. That is not comforting." June did not flinch. He reached into his coat pocket slowly and pulled out something small, a napkin folded twice, with a grease stain like it had been handled many times. Ariel recognized it. Instantly, it was from her diner. Same logo, same cheap paper. June unfolded it carefully. There were words written in pen, uneven handwriting. "Desperate Ariel, if anything happens, trust the man named June. He is the only one who can tell you the truth about your father." Ariel's throat tightened. Her father had been gone for years, not dead officially, just disappeared. A man the city forgot. A man she never stopped waiting for. Ariel stared at the handwriting. It looked like her father's, but that was impossible. She whispered, "Where did you get that?" June's voice went lower. "Your father left it with someone who owed him their life, and they owed me their loyalty. It reached me yesterday." Ariel shook her head. Her mind refused. Her heart wanted to believe. "My father was a mechanic. He was not in your world." June's eyes stayed steady. "Your father fixed more than cars. He fixed problems. And one day he fixed the wrong problem, for the wrong people." Ariel felt the street tilt. She tried to breathe slowly. June turned his head slightly. The black car moved, not closer, just enough to show it was listening. June spoke like he was choosing every word. "Those three men were not random. They were a message. Someone wanted to grab you before I could." Ariel's voice broke. "Before you could do what June answered. Before I could bring you somewhere safe. And before I could tell you what your father died trying to protect." June took Ariel to a high rise that looked like money and quiet. Doorman nodded without asking questions. Elevator doors closed like secrets. Ariel kept her distance inside the elevator. She watched June's reflection more than his face. He stood still, hands visible, like he understood fear. Inside the penthouse, the lights were warm and soft. There were no flashy decorations, just clean lines, books, a single framed photo, turned face down on a shelf. Ariel noticed security cameras. She noticed a second phone on the counter. She noticed the silence that only powerful people can afford. June offered water. Ariel took it but did not drink. She demanded answers. June gave a piece at a time. He told her her father had been an informant, not for police, for someone inside a rival organization, a man who wanted to expose a money route that ran through city contracts and fake charities. June said her father found evidence, names, payments, a list of people who wore suits in daylight and ordered violence at night. Ariel asked why June cared. Why not just let it stay buried? June's gaze hardened. "Because my mother died because of that route, and because my name has been used to protect men who are not mine. People hide behind the idea of me." Ariel stared at him. "So you want revenge?" June shook his head. "I want an ending, and I want my own house clean." Ariel tried to process everything. Her fingers still trembled around the glass. Then she heard a soft sound, a click, like a door lock. Turning, June's eyes snapped toward the hallway. His whole body changed. He moved like a switch, flipped. He told Ariel to stay behind the kitchen island. He walked toward the hallway quietly. No panic, only focus. A voice came from the other side of the apartment door. A woman's voice, polished, friendly. "Too friendly, Mr. Park. This is Detective Collins. We have questions about an incident reported near the liquor store. We need to speak with you." And the young woman. Ariel froze. "Detective Police." Relief tried to rise in her chest. Then she saw June's expression. He was not relieved. He was annoyed. He spoke softly to Ariel without turning back. Do not move. Do not speak. Ariel whispered. Why? June answered. Because that is not a detective, and because your name should not be in any report yet. The voice outside kept talking, saying they had to open the door, saying it would be easier if they cooperated. Ariel stepped closer to see, and noticed something on the security screen. Two men in dark clothes standing behind the woman, no badges visible, hands hidden. June pulled a small device from a drawer, not a gun, a jammer. He pressed it once. The hallway camera flickered. The voice outside paused, like they lost a signal. Then the woman's voice dropped its friendly tone. Now it sounded cold. Open the door. June, are we coming? Ariel's stomach turned. This was not a rescue. This was a siege. June guided Ariel through a hidden door behind a bookshelf. A narrow stairwell led down to a service corridor. The building had been designed for escape long before tonight. Ariel followed, her breath loud, her hands shaking. They reached an underground garage. A black car waited, engine running, driver inside, eyes forward. June opened the back door for Ariel. She hesitated. June said one line that made her move. If they take you, you will never get answers, and your father will have died twice. Ariel got in. The car rolled out fast. On the street above the city, looked normal. People holding umbrellas, cars honking, a world that did not know how close danger was. Ariel stared at June in the dim back seat light. If you are so powerful, why are we running? June answered. Because power is a story, not armor, and the men after you have friends and places you trust. Ariel asked who. June did not answer yet. Instead, he handed her a phone. He told her to scroll the photo gallery. Ariel saw pictures of her father, not old family, photos, new ones. Her father alive, in a warehouse, hands tied, face bruised, eyes still defiant. Ariel covered her mouth. A sound escaped her, half sob, half gasp. June watched her carefully. He said he was alive until last week. He tried to trade the evidence for your safety. They broke the deal. They staged it like an accident. Ariel shook her head. Tears fell. She could not stop them. Then the phone buzzed. Incoming call. Unknown. June answered on speaker. A man's voice came through. Smooth, professional. Mr. Park. This is Councilman Ray Holden. I heard about the trouble last night. I want to help bring the girl to the civic center. My security will keep her safe. We will handle this quietly. Ariel looked up. Councilman, a public official, a safe title. June's face stayed blank, but his eyes went colder. He replied, we are not coming. The councilman sighed, like he was disappointed. Then his voice changed. A crack of impatience showed. Do not make this harder. You have always been smart. Give her to me, and this ends. Ariel's chest tightened. She understood in one terrifying second. The suits were part of it. The clean smile was part of it. June ended the call. He looked at Ariel. Your father's evidence names him, and he will kill anyone who keeps you alive long enough to speak. Ariel whispered. Then why not just release it? June answered. Because the evidence is split, and the last piece is not digital. It is in your father's old toolbox, and someone else has it. Ariel blinked. Who? June looked forward through the windshield. The one person you still trust. The one person who has a key to your apartment. Your best friend. Ariel felt the blood drain from her face, because her best friend had been texting all night, asking where she was, sounding worried, sounding worried, sounding worried, sounding loving, and now it sounded like a trap. June brought Ariel to a small storefront that looked closed, a laundromat with one light on. A woman inside nodded and unlocked a back room. Ariel sat on a metal chair, hands shaking, eyes red, but her voice steadier than before. She asked June what he wanted from her, the truth or control. June leaned against the wall. He looked tired for the first time. He said he did not want her fear. He wanted her courage, because courage was the only thing that could finish this clean. Ariel asked why he saved her. Why risk his life for a stranger? June paused. Then he told her about the first time he met her father. Ariel's father had pulled June out of a burning car after an ambush. He did not ask for money. He did not ask for loyalty. He only said, live and do something good with it. June looked at Ariel. I have done many bad things since then, but I never forgot that sentence. Saving you was the first good thing I could do without lying to myself. Ariel swallowed. Her pain was still there, but now it had direction. She stood up. She wiped her face. She told June she wanted to face her best friend, not alone, but face it. June nodded. He made a call. Within minutes, a small team arrived. Quiet, not loud, not flashy, just prepared. They drove to Ariel's apartment building. Ariel stayed in the car watching the entrance. Her best friend Maya arrived 20 minutes later, walking fast, looking around phone in hand. She seemed nervous. Then a black SUV pulled up behind her. Same kind of dark glass, same kind of dark glass, same kind of silence. Two men stepped out. Maya turned. She smiled at them like she knew them. Ariel's heart broke in a new way. Not from romance, from betrayal. June's voice was low. He told Ariel to wait. He told her to watch. One of the men handed Maya an envelope. Maya nodded like she was being paid for a job. Then Maya used her key and opened Ariel's door. That was the moment Ariel finally understood. Love without loyalty is performance, and fear is what people sell when they think you will buy it. June's team moved. They intercepted the men quietly. No chaos, no screaming, just fast control. Maya froze in the doorway. When she saw June, her face drained. June walked toward her calmly. He asked one question. Where is the toolbox? Maya tried to lie. Her voice shook. She said she did not know. Ariel stepped out of the car. Then she walked up slowly. She looked at Maya. Maya started crying, saying she was sorry, saying she was threatened, saying she had no choice. Ariel's voice was steady. You always had a choice. You just chose yourself. Maya broke. She confessed the toolbox was in her trunk. She said the councilman promised her money and protection. She said she thought Ariel would disappear for a while, not forever. Ariel turned away. She could not look at her anymore. The toolbox was retrieved. Inside was a small drive and a handwritten ledger, names, dates, payments, a map of the whole machine. June looked at it, then looked at Ariel. He asked what she wanted now, because this evidence could burn the city, and it could burn her life too. Ariel took a breath. She remembered her father's words, live and do something good with it. She told June to leak it, not to tabloids, not for chaos, to the right, hands federal multiple outlets, so no one could bury it. June nodded. He made another call. Then he surprised her. He offered his protection publicly, not as a mafia shadow, as a witness, as a man ready to turn his own world inside out. Ariel looked at him. She saw something underneath the cold control, a man trying to become worthy of the one good act he still believed in. By morning, the story hit everywhere. A councilman under investigation, charities exposed, money routes revealed, arrests, starting phones ringing, the city waking up to what had been hidden. Ariel stood by her window, holding the toolbox. Her life had changed. Her grief still lived inside her, but it was no longer helpless. June stood behind her at a respectful distance. He said one last line that landed like a promise. They tried to erase you. Now they will have to see you. And in that quiet moment, Ariel realized the alley had not been the end. It had been the beginning, because the Korean mafia boss did not just save her from three men in the dark. He pulled her into the light, where truth could finally fight back.